Imagine waking up one morning to discover that everything you ever wanted, respect, admiration, dignity, success, was waiting for you, silently, behind a door you have never opened simply because you assumed it was locked. Imagine realizing that the greatest revenge you will ever experience in your entire life is not shouting back at those who doubted, not arguing with those who laughed at you, not proving someone wrong with angry words, but by rising so far above the noise, so far above the world that once tried to keep you small, that the only sound left is the echo of your footsteps on the path to greatness. Success is the ultimate revenge, because it turns every insult into applause, every doubt into confirmation, and every obstacle into the very foundation upon which your empire is built. For a moment, think of all the people in your life who once underestimated you. Think of those who treated your potential as a joke, who dismissed your dreams, who believed you would never become more than what they assumed you were. They never imagined that while they were talking, you were learning. While they were laughing, you were preparing. While they were certain you would fail, you were quietly forming the blueprint of a future they could never comprehend. Success is the quietest answer, yet the loudest message ever delivered. Some people believe that revenge comes through emotional reaction or confrontation, but those attempts never change anything. You cannot rise by shoving others down. You rise by building yourself up. You rise by becoming so capable, so refined in thought, action, discipline, and clarity that the world has no choice but to recognize your transformation. The moment you stop trying to convince people and instead begin creating undeniable results, you shift from playing defense to writing destiny. You stop living in the shadows of other people's opinions and step into your own light. Most people never understand this profound truth. You do not destroy your enemies by fighting them. You destroy them by making them irrelevant. When you succeed, the opinions of others evaporate. Their laughter fades. Their predictions collapse. The very people who once ignored you will stand in line to praise you. The people who never returned your calls will search for your attention. This is the quiet triumph that only success can deliver. This is the victory that requires no anger, no resentment, no fight, only commitment, consistency, and the unshakable belief that you were meant for something far greater than the ordinary. Look back at history. Every great person who transformed the world began as someone others doubted. They were called unrealistic, foolish, irrational dreamers. Yet they carried a vision that burned too fiercely for the ordinary mind to understand. You are no different. Inside you is a force capable of rewriting your entire existence. A force that, if directed correctly, can build a life so extraordinary that the people who once doubted you will never again dare to question what you are capable of becoming. But here lies the great paradox. Success begins not with external action, but with internal transformation. You become what you think about. That is the fundamental truth upon which every achievement, every fortune, every remarkable life is built. If you think in terms of fear, limitation, and weakness, you will live a life shaped by fear, limitation, and weakness. If you think in terms of courage, abundance, opportunity, and progress, then your life must transform into one filled with courage, abundance, opportunity, and progress. Your thoughts are seeds. What you plant, you will harvest. Every day you have two choices. You can remain exactly where you are, safe, comfortable, familiar, or you can choose the path of growth, which is difficult, uncertain, often lonely, but ultimately transformative. There is a reason most people stay average. Average is easy. Average does not demand sacrifice. Average does not require discipline. Average does not ask you to wake up early, stay focused, or push yourself beyond fatigue, confusion, and discomfort. But greatness demands all of these. That is why those who achieve greatness are so few and so admired. Success does not happen by accident. It is not something you stumble into. It is not the result of luck. Success is engineered. It is built piece by piece, habit by habit, day by day, choice by choice. It is the outcome of a person who refuses to be distracted by the smallness of others and instead commits fully to the greatness within themselves. The world rewards those who are certain, committed, and persistent far more than those who are merely interested. Everyone is interested in success. Few are committed to earning it. Imagine for a moment the life you desire most. Imagine the person you want to become, strong, confident, disciplined, respected. Now ask yourself, why can that not be you? What reason exists that prevents you from becoming the extraordinary individual you already see in your mind? There is none. The only barriers that exist are those you have accepted. Remove acceptance, and the barriers fall. Decide that you are no longer willing to settle, and the world rearranges itself to match the direction of your determination. Every successful person discovers a moment where they decide to take responsibility for their life, not for just the good parts, but all of it. They stop blaming circumstances. They stop blaming the past. They stop waiting for permission. They stop expecting someone else to rescue them. Instead, they say, if something is going to change, I must change. If I desire results, I must earn them. If I want a different future, I must build it with my own hands. When you make that decision, something remarkable happens. The universe begins responding to you. Opportunities reveal themselves that were always there but once invisible. People appear who align with your mission. Ideas surface that were previously locked behind doubt and uncertainty. Life begins moving in harmony with your purpose. You realize that success is not something external to chase, but something internal to awaken. Discipline becomes a companion, not an enemy. Work becomes a privilege, not a burden. Sacrifice becomes investment, not loss. You begin to feel grateful for the obstacles that once frustrated you, because you now understand they were training you. Every difficult moment was shaping you. Every setback was strengthening you. Every failure was refining you. Without them, you would not grow. Without them, you would not become the person worthy of the success you seek. One day you will look back at everything you have endured and feel nothing but gratitude, not anger, not bitterness, gratitude. Because you will realize those who doubted you were the very reason you learned to believe in yourself. Those who underestimated you forced you to develop abilities they never expected. Those who ignored you inspired you to build a life they can no longer enter. Without the struggle, there is no strength. Without critics, there is no fire. Without obstacles, there is no growth. And when the day comes, and it will, when you stand tall inside a life you built through determination, when you wake up not to noise but to results, you will understand what success truly is. It is not money, it is not trophies, it is not applause. Success is self-mastery. Success is inner peace. Success is knowing that you became the person you were capable of being, not the person others limited you to. Success is walking into any room and never needing to announce who you are, because your presence speaks louder than any words. And in that moment, those same people who once doubted you will not know what to say. They will search for explanations. They will attribute your achievement to luck, timing, or coincidence, anything but discipline and sacrifice, because acknowledging those would force them to confront their own unused potential. You will not need to correct them. You will not need to remind them of their disbelief. You will not need to say a single word. Your existence will say everything. That is the greatest revenge. When your success becomes undeniable, when your work becomes unarguable, when your transformation becomes irreversible, the world respects results. It respects discipline. It respects the individual who refuses to surrender to circumstances and instead shapes them. That power is already within you. It has always been within you, and the only question left is, when will you decide to use it? And here is another remarkable truth. No one else needs to understand your journey. They do not need to approve. They do not need to support you. They do not even need to believe in you. The only one who must believe is you. Greatness has always been a lonely road in its early stages. People cannot recognize the value of what they cannot yet see. That is why most mock what they do not understand. They see your present and assume it is your future. They see your struggle and assume it defines your destiny. But the present is merely a stepping stone, not a stopping point. You must be willing to move forward even when no one applauds. You must be willing to stay committed even when the progress is invisible. For success is not born in moments of recognition. It is born in the solitude of invisible effort, the late nights, the early mornings, the repetition, the discipline, the quiet planning and relentless execution. These are the chapters that no one sees, yet they are the very pages upon which victory is written. Never allow someone who gave up on their own dreams to convince you to give up on yours. Their limitations do not belong to you. Their fears do not define you. When someone tells you that something is impossible, what they are truly saying is that it is impossible for them. But you are not them. You are not designed to fit inside the expectations of others. You are here to exceed them. You are here to show what happens when determination refuses to bow to doubt. There are people right now who expect you to fail. They are comfortable with the version of you that remains average. They are invested in your stagnation because it makes them feel better about their own. Do not allow their comfort to become your prison. Nothing extraordinary has ever been achieved by someone who sought the approval of the ordinary. A life spent trying to please everyone will please no one, not even yourself. So choose progress over popularity. Choose growth over acceptance. Choose purpose over comfort. You must keep moving forward, not because someone else said you should, but because you understand the cost of standing still. Every dream has a price, and so does every regret. The difference is that the price of dreams is paid up front with discipline, effort, and sacrifice. But the price of regret is paid later, when it is too late to change anything. One day you will ask yourself, did I become who I was capable of becoming, or did I allow fear to steal my future? Let your answer be a source of pride, not sorrow. Success demands a new identity, one you have not yet grown into. You must shed the version of yourself that settles for less, the version that quits when it gets difficult, the version that listens more to fear than to possibility. Let that version fade into the past, for every next level of life will require a next level of you. Growth is uncomfortable because it stretches the mind beyond the boundaries of the familiar. But if you remain inside the known, you will forever be confined by the ordinary. Every day, remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself of the life you are building. Remind yourself of the person you are destined to become. When the motivation fades, and it will, discipline must take its place. When excitement disappears, because it will, commitment must guide your steps. Emotion may spark the journey, but habit sustains it. Develop habits that align with your goals. Your future is being shaped by what you do daily, not what you do occasionally. Imagine walking into a future so remarkable that you barely recognize who you once were. The struggles you face today will become stories of triumph tomorrow. The pain you feel now will become power later. The confusion you carry will become clarity. Nothing is wasted when you continue moving forward. Every single effort compounds, every action builds, every step, no matter how small, moves you closer to a life where everything finally makes sense. And when success arrives, it doesn't knock loudly, it comes quietly. It is revealed in the way opportunities begin to find you, in the way strangers admire what those closest to you once dismissed, in the way you no longer chase validation because achievement itself has become your voice. This is a transformation so profound that those who overlooked you will feel compelled to look again. Some of the greatest victories are not seen by the world. They happen inside you. The moment you realize you no longer react to negativity the way you used to, the moment you discover that criticism no longer shakes your confidence, the moment you recognize that the person you once were is no longer capable of holding back the person you are becoming. These are the quiet triumphs that precede the loud success the world eventually witnesses. You deserve a life that reflects your potential, not your past. You deserve to rise, not because someone offered you a hand, but because you decided you would no longer live beneath your abilities. Do not be afraid to outgrow people who refuse to grow with you. Some will only love you when you remain small enough to stay within reach. The moment you expand, you expose their limitations. That is not your burden to carry. True success requires focus, uninterrupted, undistracted focus. While others are busy criticizing, you are busy creating. While others are wasting time, you are investing it. While they are chasing validation, you are chasing fulfillment. Success comes to those who take their minds seriously. Guard your attention like treasure. Direct your thoughts like an architect shaping a masterpiece. What you consistently think about, you inevitably become. Every day, choose to be a person of action. Be the one who takes the step. Be the one who tries again. Be the one who refuses to surrender. You do not need to shout your goals from rooftops. Your results will speak. Your achievements will echo. Your growth will become undeniable. Let people talk now. They will learn later. Let them doubt now. They will understand later. The greatest stories are written by those who never allowed the disbelief of others to distract them from their mission. Soon, you will be the inspiration someone desperately needs. Someone will look at you and say, because they did it, I believe I can too. That is the ultimate victory, to become living proof that the impossible was possible all along. The world needs individuals who refuse to shrink, individuals who rise boldly, individuals who make success their quiet response to every limitation ever spoken against them. And in that moment, when you have transformed doubt into drive, fear into fuel, struggle into strength, you will know why success is the ultimate revenge. It requires no anger. It holds no bitterness. It simply transforms everything that once held you back into the very thing that pushed you forward. Let your success be the story that silence cannot stop. Let your life become the answer to every question they asked about your worth. And remember this timeless truth: you cannot build a reputation on what you are going to do. Intentions mean nothing until they become action. Potential means nothing until it becomes performance. Dreams mean nothing until they become results. The world rewards execution. The world respects discipline. The world admires those who say little and achieve much. Do not waste time explaining what you will one day accomplish. Spend your time accomplishing it. There is a quiet power that lives within consistency. Anyone can be inspired for a day. Anyone can be motivated for a week. But the ones who rise to greatness are those who commit for years without applause. They continue learning when others stop. They continue improving when others get comfortable. They continue preparing long after the world has forgotten their effort. And because they stay ready, the day opportunity arrives, they do not need to get ready. They simply step forward. Most people are waiting for the perfect moment to begin. They wait for more confidence, more clarity, more resources, more signs. But the most successful people in the world began before they felt ready. They understood that readiness is not an emotion, it is a decision. The moment you begin, the path unfolds. The moment you take action, guidance appears. Life bends in the direction of movement. Nothing changes until you do. Success is not reserved for the extraordinary. It is built by the ordinary who refuse to quit. It is created by those who show up after failure instead of surrendering to it. Every great success story contains chapters filled with doubt, confusion, mistakes, struggle, and uncertainty. But they continued. They persisted. They refused to allow temporary defeat to become permanent failure. That is what separates the great from the forgotten. Think of the countless individuals who possess talent but never fulfilled it because they chose comfort over effort. Think of the many who had potential but lacked discipline. Think of those who dreamed but never acted. Their lesson is clear. Without consistent effort, nothing grows. Without responsibility, nothing improves. Without courage, nothing begins. You must be willing to do what others avoid. That is where greatness is found. Each day is a blank page. Each choice is a sentence. Each habit is a paragraph. Each year is a chapter. And your life is the book. Ask yourself honestly, how do you want your story to read? Do you want a story filled with excuses and procrastination, or one filled with strength, commitment, and transformation? Do you want your story to end with regret, or to inspire generations? You are writing the answers through your actions this very moment. You were not created to remain average. You were not designed to live a life limited by fear, doubt, or hesitation. You were created with the capacity to think, reason, choose, and create. No other species has that privilege. You possess the most powerful tool on earth, your mind, and the mind becomes whatever you consistently feed it. Feed it doubt, you become doubt. Feed it negativity, you become negativity. Feed it discipline, vision, purpose, and belief, and you become unstoppable. The true battle is never with the world outside you, but with the world within you. Conquer the enemy in your mind, and no external challenge can defeat you. The greatest distance you will ever travel is the distance between where you are and where you could be if you truly committed. That distance is crossed not by giant leaps, but by steady, intentional steps taken daily. There will be days when you feel tired, discouraged, or uncertain. Those are the days that matter most. Anyone can persist when it is easy, but the reward belongs to those who continue when the path is unclear. That is where character is formed. That is where resilience is born. That is where transformation occurs. When you push forward through difficulty, you are not only moving towards success, you are becoming the person who deserves it. And as you rise, something extraordinary happens. Your standards begin to change. You no longer tolerate the excuses you once accepted. You no longer waste time with distractions that once entertained you. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself to others. The noise fades, the focus sharpens, the vision strengthens. You begin to value growth over comfort. You begin to value discipline over pleasure. You begin to value purpose over approval. This is the moment when success becomes inevitable, not because it has arrived, but because you have become the kind of person who cannot live without pursuing it. You have built an identity that aligns with excellence. You have developed habits that generate progress. You have cultivated a mind that refuses defeat. You have risen above the temporary emotions that once controlled you. You have mastered yourself. And when you master yourself, you master your future. No competition can threaten you. No critic can discourage you. No setback can stop you. For success is not something external you chase. It becomes internal, a natural result of who you are. When you become success, success follows you. And soon the same people who once ignored you will ask how you did it. The same people who once questioned you will ask for your guidance. The same people who once looked down on you will look up to you. You will not need to remind them of their doubt. The results will speak with the clarity of a bell ringing across a silent field. That is why success is the ultimate revenge. It transforms every wound into wisdom, every doubt into determination, every disappointment into fuel. Let them say you cannot. Let them assume you will fail. Let them mock what they cannot understand, while they talk work, while they wait, act, while they sleep, build, while they complain, progress. Become the example that makes them rethink everything they believed about what is possible. Your life is waiting. Your potential is waiting. Your future is waiting. And when you finally arrive, nothing will need to be said. The victory will be undeniable.